Alright, so I am back, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 3D printed Dinobot. That it's made by the same guy that made the first one that I looked at a little while ago. But this is going to be a little bit of a smaller version. So just to show that off real quick, because I sent the original one back. Just because I didn't, I didn't have the money to keep it. I had other things to buy. So here is what the original one looked like. Now, a lot of people were wanting me to show this new one off with the Rhinox, but unfortunately my dog ate it. But anyway, so you can see here's Waspinator with the original, and it goes up to just below the dino mouth. So, about that big. So let's get Waspinator out here real quick and see how big he is in comparison to that same Waspinator. So, as you can see, Waspinator comes up to about mid-dino chest. So, that's pretty decent downsizing there. So, and that's why we're looking at this one. The figure itself is, for the most part, the same. We'll do more size comparisons in a few minutes. While the figure itself is basically the same figure, he did a couple retools of it, which I'll point out as we get there. You can see he used a different type of plastic here. So it's clear instead of the white. I believe that's because just of what the capabilities of the white plastic are when you're printing with it. The placement of the head is also different. You can see he was able to incorporate the hinge that I was talking about in the original one. Now you can, I believe this does tab in, but he suggests not to tab it in to give it a little bit more height and more of a neck, because if you tab it in, that neck is going to be all the way down. So yeah, that's a major difference right there, and because remember the original head sat right about here, so it was really not. I mean, that was my biggest gripe about that figure. While everything else I thought was pretty cool, that was my biggest gripe, and now it's in a better position, and I like that a lot better. His proportions still seem a little off to me, but I'm going to attribute that mostly because of the fact that it's not painted. I think if you painted this thing well, we're going to be looking at it with a different eye, because everyone's proportions are a little weird, and it's just like the paint can really make a figure pop or not. So anyway, so our articulation stays the same. He's got a ball joint on the head. I think the original one I think was just a swivel. So this is new. So nice ball joint, excellent head design, just great. I think that fits the character perfectly. I believe you're supposed to sand down some of these this plastic before you paint it. So it's good because he's got some really sharp detail on this face. So if you sand that down, it's not going to lose too much. Shoulders swivel up and down. All the way around. There's a hinge out. A nice robotic detailing in there. Bicep swivel. And a little plastic grinding, but when you take it apart to sand it down, I think you'd be able to do that. Bends at the elbow here. Hands rotate. I wonder how that's attached. I just don't know. These fingers, the thumbs, open and close. About that far. these fingers fold all the way back, go all the way forward. Nothing at the waist. That's due to the transformation, so not much you can do there. Oh, I didn't have this all the way up. So yeah, get it all the way up. Past these little tabs right here. There. That's, oh man, that's so much better. But the leg rotates up and down, hinges in and out. There is a thigh swivel, bends at the knee. There's actually a double jointed knee in there, so but due to this dino leg right here, it gets in the way. So if you were to need a dynamic pose, you can move that out of the way and get a much more deep bend. You just have that leg or that arm right there sticking out, but you can do that if you want to. Feet are on ball joints, so they go around. There's a little bit of an ankle tilt, definite ankle rocker though, or vice versa, whatever. So yeah, there you go. That all looks good. This time they requested me to go from bot to beast and then back to bot, so we're gonna do that. So you can take. So he comes with two swords, just like the other one. One that stores in the tail and one that does not store in the tail. Now you take the one that stores in the tail, you plug that into the tail, close this up. This one, on the other hand, you can put it there, but it doesn't close up all the way. As you see, it's just too long. So this is more for bot mode, so you can plug this into his hand. And they've remembered the plug on this one, so that's great. And yeah, you can just have him ready to deal out some punishment there. And then you take this one, open up the hand here, and then you just take this and you plug it into the hand. Just like so. And you're good to go. And I believe you can take this and plug it. You can still plug this here if you want to. So, looks good. All that looks good. All the accessories are working great. Plugs in there real tight, which is good because once you shave it down a little bit and then paint it back up, we should be good. So for our first step for transformation, put this together and just tab that in. And there's the tail. Take this thing out, and we'll set that off to the side because this does not have a place to store in transformation or in Dino mode. Now, what you want to do here is pull the head up like this, and then you want to flip these panels here all the way out. So when you're in bot, I'll show that off when I get back to bot mode, and then you flip this up, and then you take this head here, rotate it in, and then this goes back. This will flip over. And you see there's a kind of a tab where the head is, and this slot right here will plug over it. And then these will each collapse in. There's a little plug there. They'll plug in that little hole right there. Just like that. This will rotate up. And then you want to rotate these side sections out, or around. Just like so, and while you're doing it, you want to move this chest piece here out of the way as well. Oh, look, that pin came out a little bit. So if you're getting ready to paint it, you'd want to definitely glue those in. Use the tail here to just kind of push that pin in further. There we go. Alright, let's rotate this up. This will come out. Rotate this up, and you don't want to rotate it all the way. You want to get it about this far, and then leave it there for a second. Then what you want to do is take the leg assembly here. You pull the hips up, rotate this around, and then this will come down just like that. And then you take the legs here. They rotate at the thigh, and then you flip out the dino leg. Close up this foot. close up this foot, rotate, this will come out, just like that. These will tab in together, and you want to collapse these up, and you want to use the bottom knee, I believe, so that they can collapse up even further, like this. Alright, and then this will all, you want to rotate at the hips, not at the hip, or not at the waist joint. So you want to rotate the hips in. And I'm being not so light-handed with it this time, because they said it should be able to handle it. And you want to pull these legs back, get those out of the way. And then all of this is just you're gonna be able to squeeze all of this together. And there's these little hooks right in here that should hook around something, but I believe they're kind of like, they're really difficult for him to design to be perfect, but it all holds together once you get it like this far. I mean, this is holding together just fine without those little tabs, so those are not important. But this right here, that's what we're looking for. So this is what I messed up on the first one. I didn't get it quite as tight. So flip these out, and then we can rotate the knee, rotate the foot, like that. Same thing over here. Oh, there we go. It's kind of like a ball joint. I was wondering how those were plugged in there, so now we know. All right. This pen came out. Definitely would want to glue that in if this was mine. All right. And then we can take this tail here, and there's a tab here that'll plug in here, and two little tabs here and here that'll plug in. It's a really tight fit, or I've done it a few times already, and it does not bother me in the slightest on whether or not it's going to break. It's, like I said, it's just tight, super tight, and once you get in there, you're golden. And then everything comes up here. Kind of put that how you need it. And there you have him in Dino mode. Excellent. Excellent. No, I figured out that leg thing. Because like I said, I don't think I had the legs just quite right. I know I had them close, but just not quite there. So the ball joints on the elbow, or on the Dino arm. There is a hinge for the hands. The neck does rotate down. That's a ratchet. That's that's pretty cool. I don't recall if the first one had a ratchet, but this definitely has a ratchet, and that's really awesome for a 3D printed figure to have a ratchet joint. Which means there's no excuse for the companies like X-Transbots not to put the ratchets in the right spots. If a guy with a 3D printer can do it, your professional companies can do it. Head swivels all the way around. Mouth opens and closes. It opens that far. That doesn't look so good, but opening it that far looks great. I mean, that's just... it's Dinobot. I mean, that is Dinobot. This leg swivels all the way around. Same articulation as the arms, really. So you got the thigh swivel, bends at the elbow, foot pivots, heel spur, wrist swivels on that ball joint. And yeah, he's really, really awesome. I really enjoy this figure. I really do. I really want to get out my paint kit and start painting him tonight. But I will... I'll save that to the owner. So you pull this out, And then you want to split the tail, which is definitely easier said than done. It tabs in there really well. So if you got a little tool, I lost mine earlier. Alright, so you open that up, pull that out, set those off to the side. Then you want to take these legs here and pull them down like this. Hold out the feet, untab them. This will rotate in. This will rotate in. This rotate backwards like that. Then you want to take the arm assembly. Now, the trick here is you want to make sure you're moving these things at the same time, pretty much, because they're attached by this little piece right here. So if you swivel one without the other, you run the risk of breaking this. So I don't know if the plastic is going to give that easy, but you know, even if it was an official figure, I would be wary of that. So rotate this around. There's a port right in there, tab right there. It'll just slot in like that. This will rotate down. These all just lock in. Like I said, you want to make sure this tab right here is past the shoulder joint. You're going to be good. Rotate the arms down, around, and around, down, and around, and around. Alright, and then you take these panels here and you flip them out, like so. This will come out. Like that. It's really tight. This will flip back. And you ratchet this whole assembly down. And then here, this is what I was going to say. This piece definitely wants to go back there. Open the mouth. And then you just kind of put the back jaw behind this plate here. And then it all just kind of closes up, just like that. Now from here, you can take these and leave them out a little bit, give them a little bit more defined chest. For me, I like them. I honestly like them all closed up. I think that looks just fine. But again, I'm used to the Beast Wars toys where that's how the heads would end up. So, your call on that one. So let's give him his big sword and do some size comparisons. Like I said, I wish I had the Rhinox. It's gone. Oh well. I wish I had some primals too, but I don't. Because there's a deluxe class primal that this thing I think would scale perfect with. So while the first one I think scales perfect, scaled pretty well, or would scale pretty well with like the ultra class primal. This is definitely more in the Robot Masters scale primal, which was a deluxe figure. So we already took a look at Waspinator, but we'll get him back out here. So this is perfect, just absolutely perfect, perfect scale right there. Here he is with Cheetor. Who again? This is the original Beast Wars, not the crappy Universe remake. So I think that's a pretty good scale there. Here he's with Voyager Grimlock from the Fall Cybertron line, just because I want to show him off with a Voyager. You see he's definitely Voyager scale, which in Beast Wars terms would be Mega scale. not Voyager. It was Mega, and then Ultra was the big ones. Here he is with Generations Rat Trap. Now the problem here is, like, this guy I think scaled perfectly with the bigger one. I don't know if the bigger one's going to still be available or not. I'll ask them about that later. But so I mean, the issue here is not this figure. not this new one. It's this one, because this is too big, and it's been too big since they made it, because they made it alongside the Waspinator, and Rat Trap was never the same size as Waspinator. He was always smaller. So I think if you have the original Scout class one, which I don't have, but I do have, or basic, I do have the basic sized. The basic size Beast Wars figure. And if you have that one, I think that would be more acceptable than he is. So yeah, I think this would work perfect. Like I said, if you have the Robot Master Primal, and then you'd use the Ultra Class Megatron, because Megatron was bigger than Primal. And you know, the Voyager Rhinox, this Waspinator, this Cheetor, and then the basic size Rat Trap. I think that would be the ideal scale right there. For rating on this figure, cost on this figure I believe is going to be $70 plus $15 shipping. So $85 shipped. So I think he's a little bit more than the bigger one, but that's because of the different materials that they're using. As I said with the big one, it is an acceptable cost for a third-party figure, even if it's not a painted one, because these are done in much smaller runs. You don't have to worry. Well, you don't have to worry about mold degradation because there's no mold. It's a 3D printer. So that's a nice thing to think about there as well. But I would say it's a good cost for this figure because it's a small run figure. You know, if it was more like mass produced, I'd say, you know, they should drop the price a little bit. Like if it was produced by a major company like Vance Project, MMC, or, you know, Unique Toys, you know, one of them. I think that would work pretty well. Or that would be a little bit too high of a price. But at the same time, we've seen them sell Voyagers for $100 plus. So honestly, it's not that bad. If you think of it in terms like that. So the only drawback to this figure is the fact that it needs to be painted. Now, I'd say pretty good at painting. I came second in a few painting contests for Warhammer miniatures. So, you know, having a figure that needs to be painted doesn't bother me one bit. But I know there's some people out there that cannot paint. So they'll try and find some people out there that do paint and try and pay a little bit more to get them painted. But the fact that it's not painted and it's not cast in colored plastic might turn some people away from it. Outside of that, that's the only complaint I have. And that's not even a complaint for me. That's just general people not wanting to paint toys. For me, I mean, I would not have a moment's hesitation to paint this guy up. I just don't have that money right now because I have other things in line before this guy. So, do I recommend this figure? You bet you do. You bet I do. I think he's excellent. I really do. I think he's the best representation of Dinobot we've gotten, and he has no color. He's still better than the original Dinobot, and he's still better than the Universe one. It really is the best Dinobot we have. Now, depending on what scale that MP Primal is, might depend on which type of Dinobot or which Dinobot you'd want to get. If you want to get the first version or this version, but we haven't seen enough of that Primal or any scale shots of it to really know what to think of there. But yeah, it's an excellent figure. I recommend it. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Like I said, I personally have no complaints with it. I could see where people would be a little irritated with it not being painted, and that is the only thing I can really see. And like I said, for me, that wouldn't be an issue at all. Now, the gentleman that sent this to me, Chris, just to let you know, because I know you're out there watching this, I will be, today is Wednesday. Yeah. So I will be sending this back to you early next week. The reason for that is if there's anybody that has any questions, or if there's any transformation I did wrong, I can go back and do an update video, because the first time I did it, I was so quick to put it back in the box and send it back to you. Everybody that was asking questions, I couldn't answer for the most part. So I'm gonna hold on to this for a couple more days, and then send it back to you early next week. I hope that works for you. I'm sorry. I'll send you a PM about it too, but that way, you know, if there are any other questions, I'm gonna post the link below on where you can purchase these. So definitely check them out if you're interested in something like this. But yeah, I think this scale works pretty good. I like the original scale. It was a little too big, but I definitely like the head placement a lot better on this one. Very, very nice. I would really like to see him take a stab at Cheetor. I mean, I would love to see a little bit of a better Cheetor that's not that universe piece of shit. And this mold is just not great. And you know, if you design something like this, I'm just pointing this out to you. If you design this guy and make it about this big, then you can also upscale it just a hair, just a little bit, and make a Tigertron. So you get 2 for 1 essentially. So just throwing it out there. Anyway, like I said, if you guys have any other questions about this figure, feel free to ask me. I'm going to hold on to it for a couple more days, and then before I send it back to him. So